So 4 years since our last ExpressVPN review, and wow, things definitely changed in the tech world in just a few months, and never mind 4 years. With that, I'm going all in again and giving my latest thoughts on one of the most popular VPN services that I'm sure all of you have heard about. Now, is it still worth that premium price tag in 2024? Well, in this video, I will share all my findings. I will break down everything from security and privacy to features, speed, and how much it's all going to cost. And let's see what ExpressVPN is really made of. All right, let me walk you through the features first because, well, there is quite a bit to unpack. First off, I know you're wanting to know what ExpressVPN can unblock, and the answer is pretty much all major streaming platforms. Now, I cannot really test them all, but here are countless that we've tried and tested and they work. Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, HBO, Disney, BBC iPlayer all worked when I connected through ExpressVPN, and you just saw me unblock Lord of the Rings on Netflix. So servers are available in 105 countries, Switzerland being one of them, even though it's a tiny country, but it unblocks the shows that you really want to watch. It has really good reach when it comes to unblocking different geo-restricted content around the world, and you can also use torrent sites when connected to a server, but there are no specialty servers specifically built for P2P file sharing. NordVPN has those if that's what really you're in the market for, so check out my review on NordVPN. But before I get into other features, I want to unpack what it's actually like to use ExpressVPN day-to-day in a day-to-day operation on your computer. The interface is, well, exactly what you want from a VPN. It's clean, it's straightforward, there's a big connect button for your location picker, and that's basically your main screen. All the advanced features are there if you need them, but they're organized in the settings menu. I've tried ExpressVPN on, let me think, pretty much everything in my house. My laptop, my phone, my tablet, it works on all the usual stuff. Windows, macOS, iOS, Android, Linux, smart TVs, even game consoles, and even now on the Apple TV, because the Apple TV now enables VPN apps to be able to be installed. So this works as well now. Finally, you don't need to connect through an extra router to be able to use Apple TV with a VPN. It's very much easy now to do it and watch the favorite shows. But I actually set it up on my router too, and now everything connected to my Wi-Fi is automatically protected. So if you want to geek out a little bit and really want to make sure you're always protected, setting it up on your router is probably one of the best choice. And speaking of connections, and there is a little catch here, ExpressVPN lets you connect up to 8 devices at once. In my testing, that's fine. I mean, it covered my main devices, but I hit that limit with a few times when my whole family was home. Obviously, if you go the router route, then you're not limited to this limitation. It's only when you use the apps on your devices that those limits count. For some other VPNs like Surfshark, they don't have any device limits at all, which might be better if you've got a lot of devices to protect. And while we're talking about the basics, let me talk about ExpressVPN's kill switch. They call it network lock, and I did put it through its paces here in my review. You know those annoying moments when your VPN connection drops for like a split second? Well, that's exactly when your data could leak. The network lock blocked my internet completely and instantly, blocking all traffic until my VPN connection came back. Pretty much exactly what you want a kill switch to do. For example, if you are in a country where they really prosecute torrenting and downloading files from the torrent network, if your connection drops and exposes your IP address while torrenting, this could, you could face legal actions here, because then your computer and your address might be able to, they can identify where you live through your internet provider. So that's why a kill switch is super handy. For some slight automation, you can set ExpressVPN to launch when your computer starts up. So that makes sense, right? So no point having a VPN if you forget to turn it on and then do your activities that you want to keep private. Now you can also choose whether you want to block malware sites, trackers, ads, or adult content, which is extremely useful if you set it up on a child's device. Unfortunately, you can't choose which sites you want to block. So you're going to have to trust ExpressVPN on that one that has updated adult site lists of the streaming sites of question. It worked pretty well in my testing, but with the amount of sites out there nowadays, some may slip through the cracks, so I would not really rely 100% on that. Keys is another feature I want to touch on. It's their password manager, which comes included with any subscription, and you just need one master password to access everything. You know, the usual password manager setup. Storing logins, generating new passwords, autofilling forms, all that stuff works pretty smoothly. It even keeps track of your credit card info if you wanted to, and all this data is protected with zero-knowledge encryption. So nobody's accessing your most sensitive data, not even the team at ExpressVPN, which I find highly important. A common feature we see is split tunneling. And yes, ExpressVPN offers this as well. It lets you route your connection for some apps through a VPN and others go directly through the internet. You can choose which apps you want to go through a specific connection, like Netflix, for example, while your browser stays on your local network. This is super, super handy. ExpressVPN also offers what they call Threat Manager. You're going to want to enable this feature to stop your device from communicating with known malicious sites and trackers. And basically, it stops your apps from tracking you and then sending those targeted ads your way. A simple feature, but I love it as it helps ensure my online privacy. And speaking of ads, they've got an ad blocker too. It even blocks ads on YouTube, which is pretty handy. Ads can slow down on-page performance, so I ran some speed tests with and without the ad blocker. Pages did load faster with the ad blocker activated, but was it a huge difference? No, but it's still a good thing. Plus, my browsing experience was much better because most of the websites are littered with ads these days. So the big topic, every VPN, is obviously how secure and private your experience is. First off, let me geek out for a second about their VPN protocols. You've got Lightway, which uses AES 256-bit encryption, and Cha-Cha 2020. This is available on all devices and all platforms, so that's pretty good news. And then you have OpenVPN, which runs solely on 256-bit encryption. It runs on almost all of the platforms like macOS, Windows, and Android, but not on iOS. For iOS as well as macOS, ExpressVPN uses ICAV 2, which runs on AES 256-bit encryption, and Camellia. Okay, what does any of this mean? Well, VPN protocols ensures the connection between two or more devices is secure. They ensure you're connected to a trusted VPN, that your data is encrypted, helping prevent cyber attacks and data leaks. Lightway is ExpressVPN's own in-house protocol. They claim that not only it is the most secure, but it also provides the quickest, most stable connection. So I tested it as well as the others to see how secure they really are. And to do this, I used Wireshark, which is a third-party software that essentially analyzes how your data looks when your computer sends it to the internet. I'll bring it up on screen, but as you can see, the data was unreadable. The bottom line here is that your data is secure with ExpressVPN. As for Lightway, the connection was faster, so it does what it says on the tin. ExpressVPN does not keep logs of your online activities or personal info. They do collect some basic info to run their servers. You know, stuff like your email address and payment details, and yeah, they promise not to sell your data, but honestly, I'd be worried if they didn't promise. So what really impressed me is that they're constantly getting third-party audits done. We're talking about a dozen per year. That's more than any other VPN. They bring in independent security experts to verify everything they claim. And as someone who's seen plenty of VPNs make empty promises, this kind of proof actually means something, and it adds a little bit of confidence and a layer of security to ExpressVPN. Now, the last thing is mentioning their trusted server setup. Instead of storing data on hard drives, everything runs on RAM. I'm talking about ExpressVPN's end, by the way, not your computer actually. So this is actually a great feature because when running apps on servers through hard drives, you run the risk of hackers accessing sensitive data, and there is a slim chance, but it's still a chance all the same, and it's a chance that your data will be exposed and misused by criminal organizations. So By switching everything to run on RAM, and any saved activity is essentially wiped that is running on those RAM servers when a connection is restarted. So if anyone was to break through the security protocols, there would be essentially nothing for them to find. Instead, if you use hard drives, it would be stored there, and who knows how long a service provider will store your data on their hard drives. Now let's talk speed. We've been running speed tests on ExpressVPN for years, testing different servers at different times of day. We're even running our own server with our own automation app that connects on a daily basis to ExpressVPN to really get a good average of the speed and a good idea how well the top 10 services perform. So if you want to check that out, go to cloudwords.net and check out our detailed speed charts about all the VPN services that are pretty popular these days. I'm going to condense the data down to 30 days as it's a good enough amount of time to get a strong idea of consistency. Keep in mind, all VPNs will slow down your connection to some extent. The question is, which one does it the least? Overall, ExpressVPN is within the top 3 fastest VPN we recommend. Let's dive into the data. As you can see, in the US, download speeds drop off around 15%. But what happens when I shift to Singapore? They drop over 50%. So unfortunately, those in that region won't enjoy the same performance. And NordVPN is a good alternative for anyone in that region where speeds only drop by around 10%. And other areas like the UK and Australia do well, as does Brazil. For upload speeds, they're all very similar, dropping at about the 10% mark. Then there's latency, which impacts things like online gaming, and very importantly these days, video conferencing. A low number is better here, and for the US it was around 4 milliseconds, and things jump up in other regions as this happens a lot with VPNs, and I saw a similar spike when using NordVPN for example. And what really impressed me was the consistency here. So you know how some VPNs give you great speeds 1 minute and then suddenly the next they just tank? Well, during my testing, ExpressVPN maintained steady speeds across different servers. And like I said earlier, ExpressVPN runs servers across 105 different countries and has about 3,000 server options in total. This matters because the closer you are to a server, the faster your connection, and all things considered, there's not much for me to complain about here. Let's talk about pricing. I've got to say, ExpressVPN isn't exactly the most budget-friendly. Their cheapest option right now is this 15-month plan. It's basically 12 months plus they throw in 3 extra, but well, it's not terrible. But let's just say I've seen better deals. They've got still a 6-month plan, and then there's the monthly plan, and our team ranked NordVPN as the best cheap VPN service. If you're curious about to find the most affordable options we like, the link is in the description box below, so you can pick the one that's the cheapest. I will say that even though there's no free option, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, and they won't give you a hassle if you try to get a refund. So really, it's worth giving it a go to see if it's for you. Now, a word of caution here, because ExpressVPN is changing pricing a lot these days. So as of this review, basically, you still got the 6-month plan and you still got the monthly plan, but there is a lot of transition in the prices. So make sure to click on the link in the description box below to get the best deal that is currently available with the best discounts on expressvpn.com. After years of testing ExpressVPN, where do we land? Look, it's not perfect, but it is extremely good. The price is definitely on the steep side, but the apps are clean and intuitive, speeds are consistent, and the security setup is pretty impressive. If you're more budget conscious, honestly, take a look at Surfshark and or NordVPN. They're affordable and you've got similar performance. I've got video reviews of those two, so you can stay on this channel and check them out and see if they work better for you. I know some of you have been using ExpressVPN for a while. How was your experience? Have you seen a performance drop? Can you access all the streaming services? Do you like ExpressVPN? Drop a comment below. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. And before you go, If you found this review helpful, hit that subscribe button, drop a like if you enjoyed this review, and hey, if you're using a different VPN, let me know in the comments, and I'm always curious to hear about your experiences and what VPN we should review next. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye-bye.